So in this class we will be doing sentiment analysis. Sentiment analysis is one of the most popular and well studied problem since 2-3 decades. So this is the problem of text classification, and we will see the what is sentiment analysis, and we will see how do we develop a sentiment corpus, and then we will see how do we apply a naive based kind of algorithm or a simple learning algorithm on a sentiment analysis task. So what is actually sentiment analysis is we just want to know the opinion about anything, any person, any movie, any aspect of some product. So that's the sentiment analysis. So in case of movie review, that's again a very popular task. IMDb movie reviews. So IMDb website provides the reviews of those movies. So this can be done with the help of the comments that are provided by the users. So if someone is giving a comment unbelievably disappointing, so that means this is a negative review. Similarly, full of zany characters and richly applied satire and some of the great plots, we see the word great here is actually turning it into a positive review. And similarly, the greatest here and the word pathetic here. So there is some kind of some words in which there is sentiment hidden in that. So with the help of those words, we may be able to identify the sentiments. Similarly, we may like to identify the sentiment of some product or some aspect of that product. So like in case of Google search, the Google may provide the summary of that product in some parameters like ease of use, value, setup, customer service, size, mode and color. And these are having the ease of use. For ease of use, some person or some customer may have given this review that this was very easy to set up for 4 computers. Similarly, for value, appreciate good quality and fair price. So these kind of reviews are given for the same product by lots and lots of customers. So these reviews are somewhat summarized, and then they are given some kind of ratings. So these ratings are again, they are 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star and 5 star. So we see that this red part is a 1 star and this green part is 4 star, right? So in this way, these comments or these reviews are summarized and they are collectively put up into a condensed form in the form of these ratings, and these ratings may represent some kind of sentiment, right? So you can see that this setup kind of aspect is having a very low kind of negative rating and very large amount of positive rating. But in case of customer service, you see that this is having a very high amount of low or negative rating. And so in this way, going on to these studying and making analysis of these comments and reviews, we can finally identify what could be the aspect, what could be the sentiment of the particular aspect of a product. Similarly, we can, while shopping on an online e-commerce site, the website may provide again in the same kind of ratings here. So this kind of rating is provided by the Bing, and this previous was given by the Google. Similarly, sentiment analysis can be applied on Twitter again to find the consumer confidence. So if a consumer, if for a given product or for a given anything, any kind of phrase or any that is happening in the world, anything that is happening in the world, so that can be put up on the Twitter, and then after getting the tweets that are related with that, we can again find out the sentiment of any customer of people towards that particular thing or event, etc. Similarly, sentiment analysis can also be applied to, again, using the Twitter to predict the stock market. So these are the different you know different stock different times at which the opinions have been recorded for stocks. You see, so they are different. Somewhere there are peaks are there, somewhere there are lower peaks are there. So these are the different kinds of, again, the moods or sentiments for a stock in respect of different kind of words. So these are the opinion finder, and these are the calm, alert, sure. So for these different words, the sentiment has been taken up from the Twitter, and that has been put into some kind of analysis, and then some scores have been obtained. So there is a negative score and there is a positive score. So most of the time the opinion is between -1 and +1, but in some times it becomes very high, like in case of election results or during the elections, the stock value went very high, or maybe something like that. So the positive sentiment went very high and it crossed more than 1, so it reached this value, this particular value. So in this way we can do lots and lots of kind of analysis with the help of sentiment analysis. So similarly, if one has to find the sentiment of United Airlines, so we put that United Airlines into Google search, and then we have these different search documents, and with the help of these documents we can find out again these documents are having some kind of opinion about the United Airlines. So we can, with the help of these, again, these search results, we can find the sentiments in respect of the United Airlines. So sentiment analysis is called with other names also: the opinion extraction, opinion mining, sentiment mining, and subjectivity analysis. These are different names given to the same task of sentiment analysis. So why do we do sentiment analysis? That we discussed in the previous few slides, that we can find the review of a movie is positive or negative, and what do people think about some product, what is the public sentiment about some kind of event, like some kind of event or some kind of that is happening in public, and about the politics, about the candidate, about the election, and we can again use it for prediction and market trends. So actually, person Scherer, he defined what are sentiments, right? So according to him, sentiments are categorized into these different things. Sentiment may be an emotion, sentiment may be a mood, sentiment may be some kind of interpersonal instance, and sentiment may be personality trait. But what we perform in case of the computational sentiment analysis, we are just trying to looking into the attitudes, that is some kind of enduring or effectively beliefs, disposition towards an object or person, that is whether that object or person is good or bad. So we are not going into the other definitions of the sentiments, but we are mostly interested in the attitudes. So sentiment analysis can be again done. The attitude can be calculated, or it can be done in respect of who is having that attitude, or who is having that is the holder of the attitude, or the target, like who the person or the object, what is the target of that attitude. Similarly, we would like to again go into more detail what is the type of attribute, and then we can again put some kind of like positivity and negativity in some much higher number of grades. So it can be like more positive, and it can be more negative, and we can have some neutral. So we can again have more kind of gradings here, more kind of fine grained labels to sentiments. right? So we can have positive, negative, neutral together with strength, etc. Similarly, we can do the sentiment for a given sentence or a document or a tweet or some kind of Amazon reviews, etc. So sentiment analysis may be just we can do it just a very simple task like taking out, calculating the positive or negative attitude, or we may again make it more complex, like giving the rank to the particular object from 1 to 5, or more detail. We may again go into more detail, and then we can again classify the target source or different other kind of aspects into the sentiments. That means we may, for a whole given document, we may identify what is the target, we may identify what is the source, and then we may go for different levels of these sentiments of all these. So we may identify what are the objects of sentiments in a given particular document, and after identifying those objects, we may identify the sentiments of those objects. So that's more advanced problem. So how do we do a sentiment analysis? So let's have an example, sentiment and classification in movie review. So it's a kind of polarity detection. Is an IMDb movie review positive or negative? So this data set can be obtained from the Cornell website, Cornell University website, and this is again an example of a positive review and a negative review. So you can see the text in which, when Star Wars came out some 20 years ago, the image of traveling. So there are lots of things that we can identify as positive, and this snake eyes is most aggravating. So you can see again we can identify the sentiments with the help of some kind of attitude words. So this disappointing and this is great dimension always. So there are lot of things that we can get out from this text, and then we can classify into a positive or negative sentiment. So right. So what are the features that can be taken? Yes. So before going to features, so the normal process is just tokenization of the text, extracting the features and applying a classifier. So what features do we require for sentiment analysis? It's again depending upon the problem. Upon the problem, we may apply different features in different tasks. So in case of text classification, general text classification, we know if we are having some kind of web document, then we may deal with an HTML or an XML. Similarly, if we are dealing with Twitter, we may have the mentions and hashtags. Similarly, we may have some capitalization, we may have some dates, phone numbers, emoticons, right? So depending upon the problem, we may utilize some of them and we may utilize not. So in case of sentiment analysis, so in what respect we are applying the sentiment analysis, whether it is a Twitter sentiment analysis, whether it is a product sentiment analysis, whether it is a political sentiment analysis, we may be required to figure out what are the relevant features for our problem. So example, in case of Twitter, so we may need to specifically deal the hashtags and mentions in such a way that they are helpful in identifying the sentiments. So what we do is that sentiments, in case of Twitter sentiments, the names or the mentions, they are just entities. So we can do what is that we can just replace all the mentions with some kind of, you know, some kind of a keyword. So if a name is given like this, so we may replace it with some kind of keyword. Suppose like I say name, so I will replace all these mentions with some given name, right? So because these are the only mentions and they do not contribute to any information with respect to sentiment of in a given tweet. Similarly, hashtags, so these hashtags may be identified whether they are hashtags or they are normal words, and then we can, if required, we can replace them with some kind of keyword, or we may not replace, we may just remove the hash and then take the hashtag word or the keyword from the hashtag and use it as a normal word, right? So it again depends upon the problem that we are dealing with. So in case of sentiment analysis, the negation words are quite important, right? So you see, I didn't like this movie versus I really liked this movie. So in order to, there is only little difference. There is only one single difference in this particular sentence. The word with single difference, that didn't and really, like, so this is a very small kind of discrimination and very little discrimination. So in order to give some kind of negative sentiment much more significance, so we apply some kind of technique. So in that technique, we identify what are the negation words, and then after the identifying or after detecting the negation word, we apply some kind of this we add not underscore to all the words that are between the negation word and the punctuation. So in this way we aggravate the negative sentiment in that document, right? So this was suggested by quite earlier Das and Sanjeev Mike Chen in 2001. So in case of naive Bayes, we have this naive Bayes, the class with respect of the class with the help of naive Bayes algorithm can be predicted as argmax probability of Cj, and Cj belongs to the class set of classes. Alright, and this is the probability of word given a class, and we need to calculate for all the words that are present in the particular document in respect of all the classes. So this naive Bayes, we calculate actually we count the number of words and calculate the probability. But what we do in case of sentiment analysis is that we don't go for all the words in the document, just we do some kind of identify the sentiment words in the document, right? So word occurrence is not a very significant matter in case of sentiment analysis. So just the frequency, maybe like the word is occurring 5 times or 10 times or 8 times may not give much more information regarding the sentiment of that particular document. So what we can do is that in order to simplify the problem, we can just clip all the word counts of the document to of the word all the word counts in a document to 1. That means we will just see that whether that particular word is appearing in the document or not. Right, so the algorithm may be changed slightly, and there is some problem with this. Okay, so the algorithm is almost same. We just calculate the class probability with the help of in how many documents that particular class, or how many document belongs to class J divided by total number of documents, and then we just calculate the PWK terms, and so we are just doing for all the words. We just see whether that particular word is present in the particular document or not. Let's see what's present here. Yes, let's see with the help of example here. So what we do is that we convert these documents, the occurrence of this Chinese and Chinese, again the Chinese is occurring in 2 times, we just convert it into 1, and we have this new kind of corpus, right? So here also Chinese has been converted to a single Chinese, right? So these are some small techniques that can be applied in order to simplify the process. So binarized naive Bayes have been observed as working much better than using the full counts of the words present in the documents. And this binarized is not same as multivariate. Multivariate is that we discussed in multivariate Bernoulli is actually something different. Multivariate Bernoulli is like this. We are having again we discussed earlier also, we are having these. So each of these feature is actually a Bernoulli random variable. So this is a little bit different. The binarized multinomial naive Bayes is actually a little different with the Bernoulli naive Bayes, right? So I'm not going into the mathematical details here, what is the multinomial and what is the Bernoulli random variable. So just as a general case, just in general, we can apply these kind of techniques to sentiment analysis, right? So we can apply the cross validation. We discussed earlier also that we have some kind of data, and then we take different samples of test data, and for testing or for evaluation. So cross validation is we may discuss it not right now. So let's keep the class till now, and we will take up some more issues in sentiment analysis in the next class. So cross validation is actually sampling of test and training data from the whole corpus in such a way that we take one sample. If we are having n folds cross validation, we divide the data into n parts, and then each of these n part is taken one by one as the test data. So this is 5 folds cross validation. So this is fold 1, this is fold 2, this is fold 3, this is fold 4, and this is fold 5. So each of these single folds are taken as test data, and rest of the part is taken as the training data, and on each of these settings the algorithm is applied and the model is tested, and then we are able to achieve an average accuracy or average parameter, evaluation parameter for that particular task, right? So we can apply different algorithms, maximum entropy algorithm, SVM algorithm. So we studied that naive Bayes is quite a simpler algorithm and it works well, but it does not work very good. So SVM is a kind of very powerful classifier support vector machines that in general appear to give very good results on different problems. So we will take up all these things in the next class, right?